everyone, welcome back to the homestead. I finally made it out to the garden today. It's mid-afternoon and I'm surrounded by comfrey and bumblebees. So if you hear buzzing in the background, it's probably bumblebees. So we are in for a cold week this week. Very unusual for the month of May. It's supposed to get down into the 40s at night some nights, and then the highs are in the 60s. So anyway, it's good to be back. Last week we took a break from blogging and video production, and that was actually really nice. I do enjoy making videos when I'm inspired, but it was such a blessing to just take the whole week off and be able to have more time in my mind and my heart to focus on my family. So that was really good. I got to spend some really sweet time with the girls in the garden, which I will share with you at the end of this video. And so I do plan on walking around the garden a little bit with you today in this video. But first, I just wanted to encourage all of you in this one area of life. When problems come, when things don't go as planned, sometimes it can be really challenging. And I'm learning that through those experiences, if I can have a thankful heart, trust the Father to give me a thankful heart, the problems go so much more smoothly. So many of you know that Kip took 2 weeks off of work so that we could work here on the homestead, and we had all these plans. We had gathered a lot of supplies and we were ready to do some garden irrigation and fence our swales because our cows were mashing down the fences and getting into our swales, and we put a lot of work on those swales, planting comfrey and plants and different things, and of course there's the fruit trees. I also had a whole hedge of lilac that this year was finally to the place where it was going to really bloom and look beautiful, and the cows ended up taking out almost all of the lilac blooms. Now I know that cows love lilacs. I did manage to get one lilac bloom before the cows got it. So I'll look forward to next year when hopefully we'll be able to have that fencing fixed as well, and I'll get to enjoy some lilacs. I was really excited for the irrigation in the garden, to get protection on our swales, and we had plans, we had supplies all ready to go, and then our bull got out. Not just once, but 3 times in the matter of about 3 days. And so anyway, if you want to hear the story about that, check out our children's channel, Thousands of Roots. They've got a video on that. So needless to say, our plans had to change for Kip's 2 weeks off, and instead of doing what we had planned, he and the boys ended up having to put in almost 450 feet of 5-foot horse fencing and a lot of permanent posts and things in order to keep our bull in. So check out that video if you want to know more about that. And I hope you're encouraged to try and find something to be thankful for, no matter what problems are thrown your way or no matter what plans end up changing on you. Ended up being a real blessing because the neighbor's cows that our bull was escaping to ended up being just so kind and letting our bull stay there until we could get our fencing fixed. So huge blessing, a lot to be thankful for. And on top of that, the $2,000 it took for that fencing just happened to arrive as a gift right exactly when we needed it. So praise the Father for that. Praise Yah for that. Sometimes His plans are not our plans, and we would do well to just be thankful instead of complaining. Alright, so let's go take a peek around our garden spaces. I'll just start here in the kitchen garden where I'm at. Last week we were able to get all of our planting done in the kitchen garden and in the front garden. We were able to fix up some cobblestone that had broken. We used, I think, just the wrong kind of cement, and so it kind of fell apart on us, and we were able to fix that, so that was a blessing. Kip was able to get a whole 14-foot trailer load of horse manure. It is not completely composted and is growing weeds, so we've got some work to do with that, but we were able to move one of our raised beds to the front patio area, which we've wanted to do for a long time, and we went ahead and put the composted horse manure in that, and we're going to try growing some naked oats. They're an oat variety that's supposed to hull really easily. So if the weeds don't take over, hopefully the oats will grow, and that'll give us a little bit of experience in growing grains, because we don't really have an experience with that yet. So here just off the patio, we've got some pots with peonies growing. Got a bed over here with some Johnny jump ups and pansies, and then we've been growing this pea. It's a sugar magnolia tendril pea that's really beautiful. We've got our pots of blueberries up there, some flowers. One of my first rows called At Last that's already bloomed, and it's gonna be blooming again soon. Hooray! Over here I've got some comfrey tea going for fertilizer. It is about ready. I just soak a bunch of comfrey in buckets of water for a few days, and then I mix it with water and fertilize our plants with it. Got a bunch of potted plants over here, many to give away and many that we just don't have a spot for yet. This is kind of a miscellaneous bed where we've got some different kinds of brassicas, some Chinese cabbage and kale down at the end, some lettuces, even celery tucked in here. It's one of those miscellaneous beds. I always have at least one miscellaneous bed in the garden. And here's our cobblestone pathway area. We've got lots of perennial herbs and flowers. This is my first year with the Sweet William. We're loving it. It's so beautiful. Down here we've got some spearmint, lettuce, carrots, and onions. This is another perennial bed here. We've got hardy hibiscus that's taking off, and various other perennial flowers and herbs. This is a fairly new space for us over here. We're going with pea gravel, however we ran out, and so we've got lots more work here to get our pathways done, but got a bunch of mint over there with the Rose of Sharon. This is a newly established bed that's mostly going to be zinnias. Over here is our white garden that is very new, so there's not much white yet, but we do have a little bit of white. So beautiful. Got another bed of zinnias over here. This is a perennial flower bed with lots of new things that are really fun, like lady's mantle and hostas, a heucherella, some perennial flax that's almost done blooming, but it's still going a little bit, geranium, a few other perennials in there. Along the back we've got raspberries and strawberries and currants and different things, some garlic. This is our rhubarb bed. I'm struggling to figure out what our rhubarb needs. It's not doing so great this year, so I've got to do some research on that. We've got another perennial bed over here with some feverfew, lady's mantle, more peonies, some daylilies, lots of other lovely things. Hello turkeys. How are you guys doing? You doing good? Here we've got a big mess amongst our honeyberries. I planted strawberries, and basically the strawberries and the clover have just become a jumbled mess, so I'm going to be redoing all of the ground cover under these honeyberries. Probably in the fall, but the honeyberries are really doing well. They're actually producing quite well this year for us for the first time. Back over this way we've got our citrus and Pixwell gooseberry and some chocolate mint that badly needs harvested. And then the annual beds here, we've got our first start of potatoes over here going. Twizzle coral penstemon is in bloom, and the oregano is looking lovely. Here we've got more potatoes that are just beginning to pop up. You probably can't see them on camera. This bed here has got broccoli and cauliflower in it, and we also have a volunteer potato. So the broccoli and cauliflower I didn't think was going to make it. It's very small. I always seem to struggle with broccoli and cauliflower. I keep on trying just little bits every year, hoping that I'll find a variety or something that will work. Amazing cauliflower has done fairly well for us. So I did plant that again, but it just seemed like the weather was not favorable for these. I got them out right before a really hot week. Boy, these roosters. So a lot of the sprouts just died, and then also we had our cat get in and scraped a bunch of the starts up, so it is what it is. Next we have about 4 different varieties of cabbage. It's looking really good. None of them are to maturity yet, but some of them are starting to get their heads, so that's really exciting. Next we have kohlrabi, 4 different varieties of kohlrabi as well, and you can see down there one is almost ready to harvest. I think there's a couple more on the end that are almost ready to harvest too. It is so exciting when we have our first harvest of kohlrabi. Rooster man, can you quiet it down a little? You're being quite rude. Guess not. At the end of the next bed we've got some blue queen salvia that we planted from seed last year. It's so beautiful. And then some sea holly that is just about to bloom for the first time. I'm looking forward to that. And in this bed we've got some little baby chard plants that are pretty small, and then some other larger chard plants that we've just started harvesting off of. This bed over here is mostly flowers. We've got a lot of echinacea here that we like to harvest for tea, and then just various other new perennials that are just getting established, quite small still, and of course comfrey. Over here we've got our wisteria that is very much in need of a pergola, so that is a project that is up and coming. We're hoping to have a nice little seating area under the wisteria here. The apples are doing so good this year. We're really excited. 2 of the trees have apples this year, quite a few, so that's really exciting. Our rock and moss pathway has unfortunately been hidden by a lot of weeds. We've had floodwaters come through and carry weed seed. It's been a bit of work trying to pull the weeds out of the cracks. But once we get our floodwater situation in order, we shouldn't have that problem anymore, and we're hopeful that the rock and moss is going to work great and save us time weeding in the long run. Alright, so over in this area we've got mostly strawberry beds. Got some lemon balm and comfrey and things mixed in these 2 beds here. All these other strawberry beds have garlic planted in the middle of them. And then on the very back bed we've got walking onions and creeping thyme that's filling in nicely and taking over the bed. It's been a real blessing with the strawberry harvest this year. We've been able to get several bowls full of strawberries, and we've been freezing them. So I'm hoping to have enough to combine with some of the rhubarb, if it survives, to make some strawberry rhubarb jam. On the double arch trellis here we've got purple pole beans coming up on both sides, all of which self-seeded from last year, and then Esther just kind of placed them along the trellis. Got some radishes on both sides that we've been harvesting, some volunteer potatoes, and some beets. Then most of the rest of the garden belongs to the girls, other than some fruit trees. So I'm going to plan another video and let the girls do tours of their little garden spaces. I think they'd enjoy that. And then also I'll have Jay give a little tour of his space. There's one other thing I will show you here in the kitchen garden before we head out to the front garden. Oh, this is not it, guys, but my chamomile is bearing a little mum and another little mum that I planted here. So I'm gonna have to come out and get these harvested and chopped down. The chamomile is just taking over this whole area. So here's what I'm excited about. Back here in our asparagus bed, we planted chufa. There's one right there. It's a little nut-like thing, root, and the sprouts are similar to grass. It's a perennial, and it's supposed to be good for turkey food. And we like them too. We actually grew them a few years ago, and unfortunately the bed kind of just got overtaken by weeds, and we weren't able to get them really established. So we're trying to reestablish them in a few of our beds in the garden in hopes that it will be a sustainable source of food for our turkeys. So I'm really excited that those are sprouting. The day I planted them it was very, very dry, and I didn't really have time to get them watered in well. You're supposed to soak them before you sprout them. I had no idea if they were going to sprout at all or not, but they did, and that's exciting. So now I'm across the driveway, and this area has been a bit of a challenge this year, particularly because we're using this black fabric, and we haven't had the time to take it up every year, so it's just stayed in place, and as you can see, the weeds are just growing all over on top of it. However, we do have some watermelon growing amidst the weeds. So it was a real job to get this area in order, but we're hopeful that the black fabric will go one more year. And then next year we're going to end up redoing this whole space, Yah willing, in a little bit more of the same style as our kitchen garden. Who just arrived? Hey family.
Hi.
They've got a truckload of block that's gonna be a retaining wall for our main crop area.
Yep.
Yay. What'd you find, Esther Pie?
Pink honeysuckle.
Pink honeysuckle? Very cool. So other than watermelon in here, we've got the front beds are sweet potatoes, like always, on both sides. We've got some more watermelon of a different variety over here. We've got pole beans growing up the double arch trellis. Fig tree in both corners. Some little sunflowers started over here. What else? Sweet passion melon over here. Only one surviving lemon squash. I think I need to replant some of those in this space here. Over here we've got orchard baby sweet corn coming up and some delicata squash. And that's pretty much it for the front garden. So I'll just show you one last thing over in the main crop area. So last year this big play area had blown over onto our grow beds here. So this year we're going to be able to take care of them better. We've got sweet potatoes, 3 different varieties planted over here. And as long as that rooster doesn't come in and dig them all up, hopefully we'll have a better harvest of sweet potatoes from these beds. He did already get in and dig up about 5 plants, and thankfully I had lots of extra, so I was able to replant the beds. And so far so good. Hopefully he doesn't do any more damage. It's because this fence line here is way too short. Another fence line that has to be redone. Almost forgot our tomato beds over here. This is where we plant tomatoes, and we use these strings to string them up. I think I forget because it's so ugly over here. We've got generators and various things in this space that make it not so pleasant to look at, but I do have a few tomatoes started at least. Alright guys, so that was just a really quick spring garden walk. Not really a full tour, but at least an idea of what's going on with the gardens right now. Hopefully in the summertime we can do a much slower, more thorough garden walk, and I can share some of the methods and things that have worked well for us here in Missouri. Also in a future video here soon, I want to have Kip share his health journey that he's on. He's actually lost over 20 pounds kind of by accident over the last few months, making some just very simple changes in his life. So I'd like to have him share that with all of you, and maybe it'll inspire someone out there. We've had many questions come in about natural health, natural remedies and things to deal with common colds, headaches, and things like that. So I hope to do kind of just a overview video of what we do here on the homestead, things that have helped us. And something new that we're excited about, we just finally got decent internet for the first time here on our property. We got Starlink, and we're able to now upload videos from home, and we're hoping to be able to try a live video. We've never been able to do a live video because of our poor internet. So this Sunday, the 29th, I think it is, we're hoping to try and do a live video if we can figure it out and if our internet will support it. So that's the plan. Hopefully it works and some of you can join us for that live video. And if all goes well, we hope to include more live videos here on the channel in the future. Alright, before I close out and share the garden time that the girls and I had, I just want to say again thank you to our patrons. Thank you for your patience with us. We do try and post regularly on Patreon when we can, but we're just in a season right now that's quite busy. So Adventure Tuesday has just been put on hold for now. I'm not sure if we'll pick that up later. And we're just really thinking and praying about what is best for our patrons right now and how we can bless you guys. So maybe you can pray with us on that. If you're a patron and you have any ideas for us, please go to Patreon and message us there. We have a few ideas in the works, but nothing set yet. We really appreciate you patrons because we know that times are hard right now. A lot of people are struggling. It is amazing to us that you are still supporting us. Many of you have been supporting for years over on Patreon. So blessings to you. We really thank you for your support.
Then I put this one, then I put this one. Mama, then I put this one. Then I put this one. Mama. Thank you, Mama. Yeah. Turn up the fan. Do you want to have this?
You can have it.
Like this. Oh, and hold that.
Chamomile. Can you say chamomile?
Mama.
Chamomile. Smells good, huh? Well guys, thanks for joining us in the gardens today. Until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours. And whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.